Hello everybody, my name's Tom. I'm going to be showing you a Mythic plus Halls of Valor, and this is going to be a guide on basically all pack mechanics and just everything you need to know as a tank. So right here, just group these two mobs together and just move them up the stairs and group these two packs and just take care of them, nice and easy. So on the next one, you want to really focus on these two ads because they deal a significant amount of single target damage at random that you cannot control with aggro, so you want to just kill them as fast as possible. They also have an ability called Thunder Strike, and it'll show because a player will be affected by a giant blue circle. You want to move away from those players, otherwise you'll get stunned. Also, watch out for the Storm Drakes. Make sure you face the Storm Drakes away from your party, otherwise they will take unnecessary damage. So on the first boss, just Lust and try to down this guy as fast as possible. You don't need to down him all the way to 0%. The fight automatically ends at 10% health. So all you're going to want to do is his main mechanic and most threatening mechanic is called Storm Breath. And you'll see I'm looking around for the dragons. Dragons will fly in and they'll breathe crap on the ground. So you just want to move the boss away from it and make sure all your other DPS is following you. Otherwise, they will almost die immediately. And you'll want to also preemptively move back in order to make sure you don't get hit by another Storm Breath. Now, that's just about the most dangerous mechanic about this boss. Well, there is one more thing. It's called bloodletting. So you just want to make sure you face this boss away from your party so they don't take unnecessary damage. And just make sure if you have a lot of melee DPS, just move away from the whirling blades. They do good damage. So no need to like put your healer under any more pressure than they already are. You know. So after that, once you're down him, make sure you pull these packs up by the stairs because you don't want to also drag a Stormforge. They can do a significant amount of damage and they're just super tanky. You don't have the time for that. So right here I'm going to show you priority targets. Now for most of these priority targets, 1 obviously that's the healer, 2 is the Valor Thundercaller, which does dangerous damage, and 3 that's just the Rune Carver. He just does a lot of damage as well. Most of the casters in here are just basically damage dealers, so you really just want to focus the casters and you'll likely just pull it through. So right here you want to pull this mob back because again you don't want to pull the Stormforge, especially if you're running with a low item level group. You want to make sure that everyone's like nice and comfortable. You don't want to force them into unnecessary situations. So right here I'm going to go back in. I see the Stormforge is coming back around, so I'm just going to pull him. This really adds up into our percentage, so yeah I mean it's good just to have him, and we unfortunately dragged this guy in as well, but you know what, it's whatever. So just go pack to pack, nothing really dangerous. These two guys, not a threat either, just pull and then just kill. I mean, you could even, if you were pretty confident, you could also pull him all the way up the stairs into the next pack. So right here, the only thing you need to know about these guys is just face them away from your DPS and make sure if you have melee DPS, just face them away. So right here, you want to focus this guy down because his Cleansing Flame does a shit ton of damage. So just focus him down, stun him, CC, interrupt. Not very difficult. So right here, you can avoid these 3 mobs. Like they're not dangerous. They're just like it's unnecessary to just pull them anyway. So right here, you're gonna pull this mini boss, and the only main mechanic that you would have to worry about him is his Eye of the Storm. So right here he's casting an Eye of the Storm. You just stand in the giant blue bubble and you'll just be fine. Nothing to it. So on the next boss, again, different mechanics. You just want to move away. Well, you can interrupt his Searing Light, but it's not necessary. Your healers won't have a hard time just healing the player back up. So right here he's going to do a Sanctify, and all you will have to do is just not get hit by the swirling lights, and the swirling light does do AoE damage, so just avoid that. So onto Haya, the first boss here. So for the Haya fight, all you really want to do is start on this side because one of the mini bosses that you previously killed will continuously empower Haya, and you don't want to get the stacks too high, so you'll be boomerang back and forth between either side so you can drop off empowerments. and just follow the mechanics I previously showed you with the 2 mini bosses and you'll be just fine. So after Eye of the Storm is over, spread for Arcane Bolt, and right here you want to use your defensives for Shield of the Light, and Shield of the Light does knock you back, so make sure you face higher in the direction you want it, and make sure no player is in front of higher when she casts it, otherwise they will get hit and most likely die. You may want to use a personal cooldown if it's necessary, because it does deal a significant amount of damage, and some tanks are not very great at mitigating magic damage, so just keep that in mind. And you'll just continuously boomerang back and forth, and again dealing with the Sanctify mechanic, and you should be able to down her by then. Just keep in mind you want your DPS to be able to down her by at least the 3rd Eye of the Storm, otherwise it might get too high to heal. So we're going to walk back here all the way in this area, and right here you don't need to, I've seen some tanks try to pull these mobs back, but it's not always necessary. If you have the damage, then you can just pull them as they are, and just going to continue this way. When you're DPSing these packs, make sure you don't pull the packs on the other side, because they are unnecessary for your percentage. You're going to take the portal and take this path that I show you right here. This is the most probably efficient and least deadly path you could possibly take. So right here you want to pull these mobs, just make sure you don't get hit by the archer's penetrating shot. It's a pretty long cast, you'll see it. Just move behind the archer, or just don't stand in front of the archers when it casts it, and you'll be just fine. So next up we're going to Fenrir, our next boss, and he does not have many troubling mechanics that you can deal with. Well, he does have some mechanics that you should be aware of. So on the first phase you don't really have to worry much, just DPS as fast as possible. There's really not much for you to do in this fight, so just DPS him down, and yeah. Also keep in mind he does do an ability called Claw Frenzy, and it does deal heavy damage. There is no indication for when it happens, but it happens almost every single 20 seconds. So keep that in mind. So right here you don't want to pull too many of these things, because they have a buff where basically the more they are grouped up, the more damage they do. So on phase 2 of Fenrir, all you really have to worry about is a couple of things. No major things. So right now, if he uses Unnerving Howl, he'll summon ads. I believe it's about 3 ads, so just pick those up. They aren't very hard to pick up. They come running towards Fenrir anyways. Still, again, watch out for Claw Frenzy, because it will do significant damage, so just be reactive about it. And another mechanic that also is added is called Scent of Blood, which will basically charge. Fenrir will begin to chase after a party member, so if you are protection paladin, you can just bop the player that's affected and he won't be able to attack them. So, and that's really it to Fenrir. Nothing major, just significant burst damage, and that's about it. Should not pose much of a threat. So moving on, you're going to be running back all the way here. You'll get a buff, and yeah, you'll just want to make your way back to the portal, and just make sure none of your party members get attacked by an ad, because if they're locked into combat, they can't escape. So right here we still don't have enough percentage, so just go ahead and pull this group. It's not always necessary, and on teaming weeks how you pull ads may change just by a bit, because you do need to pull more ads on teaming weeks. But right here you can just feel free to pull these guys. They don't pose much of a danger. And right here you can go ahead and just pull these 2 ads upstairs. Like if you're trying to save time, just pull these 2 ads upstairs, and just make sure your DPS knows you're going to pull them upstairs. Otherwise they'll just DPS and you lose aggro, which can wreak havoc on your party. So just make sure they know that you're going to run upstairs, and just going to run them up to these ads right here. You need to talk to these ads to begin a fight. So just place them next to the ads, so you can begin almost immediately and not have to like waste time walking, because every second counts, right? This is Mythic Plus. Anyways, yeah, so you're gonna just kill down these ads and then just try to move them here. They don't pose much of a threat. Again, just make sure you stay out of crap on the ground and giant circles. And right here, this guy doesn't do much of anything. Just make sure to interrupt his Unruly Yell, which does wide party damage. So just interrupt those, but everyone will most likely be interrupting those, so it doesn't really matter if you do it or not. Yeah, so you might want to also pull this guy. Oh, and also be careful, because if you start the encounter, they also might automatically like go after DPS for whatever reason. they just take aggro from DPS. So just make sure you attack them immediately. So right here, I highly recommend you focus down one guy, because the longer this encounter goes on, the more dangerous it actually becomes. So I usually focus on the guy on the left. Feel free to mark it, and make sure your DPS knows which one you'll be interrupting and which one they'll be interrupting, because you do still need to interrupt unruly, otherwise it can ramp up a significant amount of damage, and you don't want your party to die here. So, and also make sure to move away from any ads walking towards the mini bosses. They will deal party-wide damage, so just move them away or just CC them if possible. And this encounter should be pretty over. It's also worth mentioning that you should, after this encounter, a shield will drop for the next encounter, and you should pick it up, and make sure you pick it up quick, because some DPS have the habit of running over and picking it up for you. And you'll also get this icon in the middle, and you want to wait and use that for this boss, because this boss has a party-wide damage mechanic, and you only want to use it when he starts casting Ragnarok. And right here you want to wait for at least 1 second after the cast, because what he'll do is he'll either go into a Savage Blade, which is an ability that does heavy damage to you, or he goes into Fellblaze Charge, and which does damage to everyone involved. So if you have the shield up still at that time, it doesn't do any damage, so that's just a plus. So just time it perfectly, and you won't have to worry about one more mechanic or mitigate your damage ability. You also want to kill these ads pretty quickly that spawn from Skull Vaults, because they spread crap all over the ground, and it can get kind of annoying later on, because this crap actually does a bit of damage. And you'll see that he also grabbed the shield after I used the shield. So when he's done using the shield, you also have to go find the shield again. So word-wise, just pick up the shield again if you need to, if this encounter lasts any longer than that. And you should be good. Just mitigate on Savage Blade, and this encounter is very easy. Most people also decide to lessen that encounter, so it doesn't usually last long. So on the final boss, Odin is a very easy fight, except there are a few things that you should be aware of. So again, just make sure you grab aggro in the very beginning of the encounter, because for whatever reason he locks onto a DPS, and you'll want to DPS as fast as possible, because he has a phase where he casts his Tempest, which basically deals a wide range damage to everyone that's locked inside a blue circle. So you just want to take care of that. And before he does that, he'll also spawn an ad called the Stormforge Obliterator. You want to make sure you interrupt and stun all his surges, because his surges does damage that reaches every single party member. So you want to kill him as fast as possible. Focus down the ad before the boss, which is almost every mechanic. So once you focus that down and you run out of the giant circle, you also have to deal with Runic Brand. You just want to move towards the runic that is on the ground that matches the symbol that appears on your head. So just do that, and you'll get a nice healing and damage buff, which is again makes this encounter go faster. Also, keep in mind that you cannot use any battle reses in this fight, because you'll automatically be forced to go up by some Valkyries. So no battle reses. So right here again, just make sure you focus down the ad, make sure he doesn't get any cast off, otherwise it will be basically a game over. And right here we down Odin, and that's it. Nice and easy. So I hope this helped you, and I'll see you later. Bye.